Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to have a little discussion with you all in regards to an experience that I had today. I had to get a quick reminder by the Most High, and my spiritual team, through, an experience that some might see as being just ordinary. But sometimes, I like to tell people that, it's so good to experience life, because when you experience life, then you don't miss out on the details where there's very uh, powerful messages in what seems to be just ordinary day to day things. Um, and so, as many of you already know, for a couple of years recently, I was living in an extended stay hotel. Okay. And I've recently been able to have a breakthrough to get my own home. So I'm getting adjusted, okay, again. And so I love to open up my windows. When I stayed in the extended stay, the windows would barely open. It's like just like this window that's behind me here. It would open about that much. And it was like that for the entire time that I was staying, right? Because they have certain provisions, and I guess it's for liability purposes and for safety measures and things of that nature. And so I got very accustomed to being able to open my window just partially. And, that way I could let in some fresh air out the energy, clear my space out and things of that nature. So when I recently moved here, I realized after a couple of days of doing it that I would literally only open my window that much. The same amount of space that I was able to open my windows when I stayed at the extended stay. And when I realized it, I opened up the window all the way. Okay. It was cold as heck outside, but I was like, what the heck? I'm sitting up here because I was doing some deep breathing through the window. Now, most of y'all know by now, I don't like cold weather. And so the way that I still connect to nature is through, breathing in the air, connecting with the wind and things of that nature from indoors on the cold days, right? And so I'm sitting up here and I literally had my face squeezed up to this crack like I used to do in the extended stays on, on cooler days or whatnot. And I was like, oh my goodness. I just realized that I've been cracking these windows open like I'm still at the extended stay. And I opened up the window all the way and it felt so good. I just stood there smiling and giving thanks to the Most High, um, all over again. And so it's like, this is where gratitude is so important. This is where experiencing life is so important, because it was a really clear message there that the limitations, I feel this is the message for you all that I'm, bringing as well. In the past, before you had your breakthrough, there was lots of limitations that were surrounding you because of your circumstances, and it only gave you just a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, whether this is certain jobs, certain relationships where you might have had a controlling partner, or there were certain limitations on things that you felt that you can do because you wanted to please that person, or to maybe dim your own light to keep them from feeling like you was outshining them because they had insecurities or whatnot. Or friendships where you felt like things just couldn't grow. Maybe you felt like you couldn't talk to them about your spiritual um, journey and all of these different things. So you was very limited, considering the energies that you had in your immediate circle. And so many of the chosen, you all have been out here doing the work, like really putting in the work. You've been releasing the people, places, and things that does not serve you, whether it was your own mindset, your own thoughts, your, certain habits, addictions, behavior patterns, belief systems, like all of the conditioning. You've been doing the work to clear that out. One of the things that when you first start your awakening process is you go straight for releasing people and things. Like, okay, I have to walk away. Specifically people, though, you start to realize the toxicity of the people that's surrounding you, and you end up placing yourself into hermit mode. And if you don't take the initiative to do it, then the Most High has divine intervention that comes in that kind of forces you to get into that hermit mode energy so that you can start shining that light on those dark areas and really going within. And so that's a natural part of the spiritual journey. It's a very common theme, and most people can testify to that experience. So it's like once you free yourself and you've done all of this work, all of this purging, and you come out of that space of hermit mode, and you're no longer surrounded by these manipulative people that always wanted to have a one up on you, to where you literally had to put on the armor. You had to walk around with the armor on because of the type of people and the energies that you was dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Once you free yourself from those energies, sometimes we tend to forget we have to release the armor. We got to drop the armor, right? Or we tend to forget that we no longer are enclosed or limited to a narrow space. We have to come, remind ourselves like the sky is the limit at this point. And the only thing that could limit my potential is my mindset, or it could be the conditioning of the past that you got so accustomed to that you don't even realize it still has shackles around you that's preventing you from really taking flight and exploring and finding the adventures in life, and just doing all of those things that you felt you were prohibited from doing when you were in that confinement, okay, whatever it is that you came out of. So I really saw that as a clear message, like this is the time to really explore, y'all. This is the time to, you've empowered yourself. You have the spiritual tools. You have the spiritual gifts. You know how to transmute and alchemize energy. You know how to create. You know how to work with your spiritual team. You are very aware of yourself, self-awareness. You've gained so much wisdom. You've turned that knowledge into wisdom because you applied it to your life and you used it to shift not just your circumstances, but to transform yourself. And so it's like it can be you want to really just kind of evaluate yourself. Do a pulse check. Check yourself and see, now that I'm freed from these situations, people, places, things, am I now shackling myself? Am I now limiting myself at this point? Because you can no longer say that it's the people outside of yourself, even when it comes to those that you had no idea about. I've already spoken with you all about the powers that were and how they've tried to use certain, spell work and dark magic and things like that against the chosen to create stumbling blocks. And they did that for a very long time, okay, for ourselves and our ancestors. But now in your awareness, you know how to even put them to rest. You see what I'm saying? You have the spiritual tools and that divine connection to the Most High in your spiritual team, to where it's like even they know to stand down in your presence because you know the power that you possess. So now the question is, are you taking flight? Are you finding the adventure in life? Are you doing all of those things that you desired to do when you felt confined? Because sometimes, it can be like, before you come into that space of healing, those circumstances that kept you chained and bound becomes the perfect excuse for, I'm not going to say failure, but you not rising to your highest potential. It becomes the perfect excuse for self-sabotage. Oh, well, I wanted to do this. I wanted to embark on this, and I had this great idea, but I was in this type of relationship where this person put everything on me, and it was stressful, and I couldn't focus, and this and that. But now you freed yourself from that karmic relationship. And so now it's like, okay, that person is no longer in your energy. You didn't just release them physically, but you did the full release, okay? Because you got to do the full shebang, as above, so below. You got to release them physically and spiritually. So you've already done this. So then it's like, now that you have all of this time and you have all of this freedom, what are you doing with it? Do you find yourself still wearing that armor that's preventing you from taking flights and, flying higher? Because armor is heavy. And sometimes when you get so used to being in battle, it's like, you just naturally wake up and it's like a robotic movement. You put on that armor before you walk out because you almost anticipate that you're going to have to fight, that you're going to have to defend yourself, that you're going to have to protect yourself. But now you recognize that I am the co-creator of my life. And so I don't need this armor, right? Because you recognize that you have a whole slew of angels and a whole, your ancestors, of course, the Most High God, Mother and Father, first and foremost, constantly fighting your battles and defending. The moment that you speak, is done. And so, with this type of power and wisdom, are you stepping into your power? Are you really embracing the opportunity to move ahead and to become the leader of your life and to become the captain of your ship? Are you doing the work to step outside of your comfort zone and to come out of this energy where, before the past could hold you back, there was an anchor that was chained to your ankle, to these past life karmics? These are people and energies and circumstances that needed your energy. It needed you to stay on that karmic wheel, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And so it's this energy of, now that you have broken that chain, you've broken the generational curses, you have freed yourself, you freed your ancestors, you freed your offspring. Are you ready to explore this adventure called life? You are a spirit having a human experience. And so there's no part of this human experience that is in vain. There's no part of this human experience, regardless of where you are. You might say, okay, well, I released everybody, so now life is not a whole lot going on. You might feel like, okay, it's a little boring at times, it's a little dull, but it's only dull because you make it dull. Because at the end of the day, you literally have the potential to do all of these great things that you was not able to do before. So are you getting out there and experiencing life, even if it's the ordinary, what people would like to call the ordinary, those things that people take for granted, such as me opening up a window and being able to say, no, I don't have to just partially open my window anymore. I can open it all the way and fully inhale the breath of life that's, blowing on me, and, do what's necessary to purify my energy, and inhaling that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the breath of life through the wind. I can do these things and I can enjoy these things now, and I don't take them for granted anymore. That's one of the reasons why we go through so much too, is because when you're just living in the hustle and bustle of life, it's so easy to forget the small details, those things that people think is small, but in those small details, there's great messages. You see what I'm saying? In those small details, there is lots of wisdom that can be gained if you just pay attention and if you open up your spiritual eyes and see it from a higher perspective. At this point, you definitely want to lighten up in your energy, okay? You want to do what's necessary. And that's one of the reasons why I posted, that video as far as me and my son dancing, that little short clip, is because, I can do that now. You see what I'm saying? I can do that now. I can dance now. I have the freedom to move about. And it's like, why not embrace it? Why not find it as being a way where you can also raise your vibrations? It's a good way to work out. It's a good way to shift the energy. It's a good way to, give thanks and express gratitude through dancing and laughter and whatever it is you decide to do. This is our time now to explore life, okay? And so it's an adventure depending on how you look at it. You want to really check your thoughts. Again, do you see the infinite possibilities? Is your imagination open now? Because it should be, because more than likely y'all have done the work. You've healed your inner child. So that inner child is now awakened to where that child knows how to imagine. That child knows how to create in their own mind's eye. And so you should be working with an inner child that's within you, your inner child, that is fully expressive, free to just be and to explore and to be light and to be playful and all of these different things that you felt that you couldn't be when you were surrounded by wolves. Okay. And so now there's a new energy that is waiting for you to come out and explore it if you have not yet. So I do want to pull a couple of cards here. It's definitely time for you all to step into your power. Look at this. So this says clinging to the past. So this is what we was just talking about, that limited perspective. In the past, it was like, okay, of course your opportunities was limited because this was over your face. You couldn't even see your way ahead because you were so busy clinging to those things that really did not serve your highest good. And it kept you from being able to see all of the possibilities because you had boxed yourself in. And maybe even circumstances. See, at the bottom of the deck, I have guilt here. So there is this energy where if your mind is very focused on the past, if you're focused on the fact that you had to leave certain people behind, maybe they could be projecting that energy towards you to, influence that feeling of guilt, or this could be people outside of yourself. But if this is you, then this energy definitely needs to come to a completion. There's an energy of change that needs to happen. Um, Something about your security and your foundation here, that foundation that you're laying for yourself. Now that you have released yourself from this energy, you need to lay a new foundation when it comes to that, and that starts within your mind. Because if you pay attention to both of these cards, what's really being tampered with is this person's thoughts, the way this person thinks, the energy that this person is projecting through their thoughts. Okay, because in this guilt card, this is literally, it's like the darker entities are clawing at this person's mind, and causing them to really just, is so. And you see all of this dark, thick smoke or clouds around this person. It just strongly indicates so many toxic thoughts that it gives darker forces a place to hover and to, to live, pretty much. So this is where you want to check your thoughts, because at this point, other people, those people that were surrounding you, they not bringing that energy anymore. At this point, it's you and your thoughts. It's you and your perspectives and your perception of life and your expectations. And, what are you doing in this energy of solitude, or, coming out of this energy of being in the cocoon, and, now you're able to fly. Are you going to be that caterpillar that's still crawling on the ground, trying to figure out, well, what do I do now? You see what I'm saying? Because you forgot that you have wings. This is, whatever this energy is, you're wanting to release it. Let me clarify these cards and see why we got this energy coming out the way it is. Because I feel like what's limiting the collective at this point is the mind and the thought process. There could be, for some of you, if you still have issues with drinking or smoking, because this is showing up strongly in both of these cards. This person has a wine glass in the background, and in this one, it's a whole lot of dark smoke. That's also the energy that would attract low vibrational entities, thoughts, energy, all of those things. And so you want to be, you want to do the work, the spiritual work, to clear that out. You might do a burning and releasing. I destroy and I release all codependencies, pleasure-seeking behavior patterns, and all things that are unhealthy that I am drawn to, in order to create a sense of excitement, in spirit and in flesh, and burn it. If you could think of a better way to write it, then you want to do so. And then you could light you an orange candle representing the sacral chakra, because this is showing me that there might be some blockages to the sacral chakra if you feel drawn to unhealthy things. It doesn't have to be just drinking or smoking. These unhealthy things could literally just be the thoughts, the energy that's being projected through your thoughts. So only take what resonates. Not everybody is drinking and smoking, but if you are, then consider doing the spiritual work so that you can clear it out. Call on the Most High and your spiritual team to help you with that. And be patient with yourself in your healing process, but just know that once you stop, you're going to be able to see what was beneath the surface of what you might have been numbing out or smoking out. You see what I'm saying? There's something that's underneath the surface that causes you to do those things. For those people who still struggle with that. So let me just clarify what is clinging to the past and guilt. Okay, so what I have is the miser at the bottom of the deck, and morality is what just came out. So it's something about, this could either be, if you feel like morally moving down a different spiritual path, for some of you is spiritual. When I see this morality and the miser, it could be, okay, you feel guilty because you're moving into a different direction spiritually, and you're not 100% certain on what to do with these jewels now that you have all of this wisdom. What do you do with it? Or it could be that there might be some people outside of you that wants to make you feel guilty. This might not even be your energy. This could be the energy of someone else who's feeling guilty, who's clinging to the past because you moved on from them, and they might already have addictions. They might be a smoker, they might be a drinker, and they're feeling guilty about the things that they did in the past. So now they're trying to find ways on holding on to you, but they're using morality as a way to try and, to try and make you feel guilty. Oh, well, um, this is technically the right way to do something, because if you was really doing the right thing, then you would stay in my life. If you really cared, or if you was really as spiritual as you say you are, then, or as conscious as you say you are, then XYZ. Somebody is trying to make you feel guilty because they want to hold on to you, because now they recognize your value. Okay, but they're selfish in their energy. And see, this is very, the fact that these two cards came out together, this person is also very wicked as hell, because you see both of these people look like witches. Okay, they're frowning up, they barely smile, whoever these people are. They're just bitter, and it's just darkness. Even in this card, it's a lot of dark clouds here. So these people, whoever this is, carries very dark energy. So this may not even be your energy. Now I'm starting to feel like it's not your energy. I'm beginning to feel that this is the energy of the people that you have walked away from, and they're trying to project this energy of guilt off onto you, because they now feel guilty, because they now see your value and they don't want to release you. They're holding on and clinging to the past so strongly that is actually causing them, they're attracting a lot of dark energies to themselves here. So this is why it's so important. There is this strong energy of moving on, even when it comes to communication, like limiting the amount of communication that you have with these people, especially if it's someone that has to be in your life, because you might, have to work with them. So you might have to communicate with them sometimes, or because you might share children with them. So you have to communicate sometimes, but keeping it at a bare minimum. In this case, you want to keep that window, real tight like this. You want to crack it open just a little bit, just enough to hear what they got to say, as long as it's in alignment with what's, the business, and then close it back as fast as possible. But it's the strong energy of guilt. Someone is feeling guilty and very much so holding on to you and holding on to the past, and trying to use the past to make you feel guilty. So if there were certain things that you did in the past, they're trying to use it to create guilt within your own mind, so that then it will keep you from embarking on all of those other beautiful things that exist, because now your mind is kind of focused in a wrong direction. Look at this. This is what's at the bottom of the deck, conditioning. They want to keep you trapped. You see what I'm saying? And this is very in alignment with what I started talking about in the beginning, because this is a lion that is tied down to a bunch of sheep. And this would not happen in real life, okay? Because the lion recognizes its power, and so do the sheep. The sheep automatically knows the power of that lion. But of course, the only way something like this could happen is if that lion did not recognize its own power. Then suddenly the sheep can surround it and take control and place limitations around such a powerful being, one who could easily devour them if it was awakened to its potential and to who he or she truly is. And so I feel like these people, like I said, they know your value. They recognize who you are. I feel like they always did. It was just you that was asleep to your own value, because maybe there were certain morals and belief systems and conditioning that encouraged you to stay chained and bound to these energies. And so now these people are starting to see that, no, you have awakened from sleep. You know the power that you possess. You've cut these ropes. You're not being chained and bound by these people anymore. And so they are naturally in this energy of upset and emotional turmoil, because you were literally their protection in a lot of ways, because you are a chosen seed, okay? You were their protection. you kept them protected from these energies right here, because they walked around, they carried this energy of toxicity with them everywhere that they went. This is the energy that they projected for too long. And so because they was very selfish in their energy, and because they just wanted to hold on to you because they knew your value, they knew energetically and spiritually what you brought into their life, they might have found that you being in their life actually enhanced their ability to embark on certain things, or to learn certain things, or to do certain things. Certain doors opened up because you was there. It was like you was their good luck charm. That's what you was to these people, okay? And this is why they kept you chained and bound. And so now you recognize your power, okay? You're in this energy of moving forward. And so this is why it's like, okay, in spite of these people, because I mean, it feels like the message is repeating itself so much. If those of you are saying, well, why are we always getting into this energy about the karmics? It's because this is the time that we're in. The energy is shifting so much so that there is a resistance to release, okay? The karmics are, there's a strong resistance for them to release the chosen, those of you who are chosen, because they know that at that point they have to deal with the karma. They have to deal with those things that they have been doing for, from this lifetime, past lifetimes. They have to now deal with it because they don't have your protection anymore. And so this is where you're being called to have the courage to step up and lead, and to don't allow your past to hold you back. No more. Don't let them keep you anchored anymore. You freed yourself, and there's so many different things that you could be focused on outside of this. Listen to your intuition when it comes to this, okay? Because the high priestess, you contain so much wisdom, so much spiritual wisdom. You're not shackled down by false morality anymore, or certain religious belief systems that kept you in a box. You're not shackled down by this energy anymore. And some people are very disappointed at that, because they're like, your freedom, they recognize that you are truly free when you're spiritually free. Okay? And so this is something that many of them are not even courageous enough to explore. This is a path that they're not courageous enough to explore, because they're too busy putting up a facade for the world that they are morally in alignment. But when you look closely, you can see that those who are operating, acting as if, oh, religiously, I am this, I am that, I believe in this and that. But look at them. You can see these people with your spiritual eyes, and you could fully discern the energy that they are truly projecting, and whether or not they really do have a divine connection to the Most High God and the spiritual team. You know this. You can discern this because you're in this energy, in the high priestess energy. You know how to listen to your inner voice. You have the spirit of discernment. And so, the rose-colored glasses are off. And so this is where you take the reins of your life and move forward towards your destiny and your happiness and your freedom, and you go explore everything that you felt like you was chained and bound and withheld from in the past. Go do it, because now that you have awakened to who you are, these sheep, they scared now. That's why they feeling guilty. That's why they got this energy clawing at their mind, because they're terrified of who you are, the potential that you have. And they're terrified at the energy that is now coming their way as a result of the things that they did to you, that was cloaked and, hidden behind their false morality. Behind all of that was witches and warlocks that was really working up against you in the spiritual realm. And I tell people all the time, it's not always the fact that in the physical, people are brewing up things and they got voodoo dolls and all types of stuff working up against you. That's not always the case in the physical, even though quite often it is. But for many of those people that was in your immediate circle, a lot of times it's the spiritual nature of who they are that was working up against you spiritually. And you might as well say that they were so against you that in their thought process, damn, I can't stand her. I hope that she don't never get nowhere. I hope that she fails. And, relishing and finding humility in, finding humor in your downfalls, and slandering your name and talking about you and gossiping about you. All of that energy is spelling especially when they're putting so much of their time and energy into doing it, into manipulating it, into trying to cause problems for you. So on the surface, it's like, well, this person might not be dabbling in spell work per se, like literally, but it's the same energy. It's the same frequency in the spiritual realm when you compare someone who's literally working up a brew versus someone who has been against you all of your life and been speaking down on you and hoping that you never rise to becoming to living out your fullest potential. Because in their mind, they are spelling, they are doing spell work through their thoughts, their repetitive thoughts of your of desiring to see you fail. So this is where, I want people to recognize that energy is all the same. Low vibrational energy, it still looks the same. You see what I'm saying? It still looks the same. Even when you say, well, no, because this person, they go to church and, they take communion and they got a white Jesus up in the house. So no, I just don't see them doing anything like that. But that same person, you see what they look like. You can easily recognize a witch when you see one. Okay. And so it was only the conditioning that made you stay stuck. And so generally it's like the same analogy of, they say whenever you have like a dog on a leash, right? And if they've been chained to that leash for so long, by the time you take that leash off, because they're limited to how far they can go. So that leash might allow them to only go to the front of the gate. By the time you take that leash off, then automatically they know I can't go past this gate, right? Even without the leash, it's already embedded. The chain is still on the mind. And so it feels like for the chosen, for you all, it's that energy of, okay, you've released yourself from this. You're no longer chained and bound, but are you now stepping into your power? Are you now exploring all of those things that is embedded in your DNA and who you have been created to be? Are you out here really living and experiencing life now? This is where you want to do the pulse check. And so let me see, I'll pull a couple more cards and I'm gonna close out. But I definitely feel like that message concerning my window, it was like, okay, now I get what's being said here. So, pay attention. It's always something to learn here. So let's see. Look at that. You have possibilities. The possibilities are endless. Are you getting out there exploring those possibilities? Now that you have your wings to fly, how high are you willing to fly? How high are you willing to go to explore? How vast is your imagination? How great is your imagination? How far ahead down the line can you see? And if you can focus, which you can, when you focus on that vision and you recognize the infinite possibilities, then you realize there is no limitation except for the one that I create for myself. And at that point, it's like, well, shoot, if I got all of this freedom to move about, then why would I limit myself? Why would I limit myself? You see what I'm saying? And so then you have healing right here. So there's still some healing that's happening. And so I feel like, as you continue to heal, then you're going to see how far you can really fly. Because when you come out of battle and you dealing with energies like this, trust and believe this lion had to fight its way out, because now it's surrounded by many different sheep that have a vested interest in this lion staying asleep. Okay. So this lion didn't just, this lion had to literally claw and fight its way out. And the sheep was all around. Hey, wait a minute. What you mean? We're not your enemy. What do you mean? We're not your enemy. We love you. Are you losing your mind? What's wrong with you? You family. And the lion, this is you, you might have even started questioning yourself before you release that chain. Like, is this family? Is this my people? Am I supposed to be here? But once you wake up and you really see things for what it is, it's very clear that this lion did not belong amongst these doggone sheep. And they did nothing but play games and bamboozle and finesse and lie. And so eventually when that lion wakes up, of course, every last one of these sheep conspire together to tell that lion, you crazy. You crazy for talking about you want to go into a different direction because you different. What you mean you different? You a sheep just like us. Can't you see? You've been around us all your life. We raised you. We reared you up. You out here bad just like us. You sound just like we do. No, but see, the language is different now. Even your thought process is different now. And so they tried to come up against you and say you had lost your mind, but clearly they had The ones that was crazy was them. They've been crazy all their life. To think that they could actually suppress you and keep you from realizing who you truly are, even though they knew since you was born. Because this can only happen if this lion was tied down since it was a baby. So it was like from the time of your conception to when you came into this world, these people already understood the assignment, which was to keep you asleep. They was good pawns to the enemy to keep the chosen down and to keep the chosen believing that they were truly mixed in, the wheat and the tare, so that there's no separation. There's no difference between us. Oh no, we're the same. We grew up together. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and then you got that one sheep, that one damn sheep that just don't want to let go because it benefited the most from you being asleep. And so, of course, you had to fight your way out of that. So anytime you got to go to battle to release yourself from chains and, energies that kept you bound because they benefited from it, there's going to be some scars and some wounds that comes, some scars that comes out of that. Okay. It's going to be some pain that comes from having to fight your way out and to, continue to push through and say, no, but this is what I'm supposed to be doing. My heart and my soul and my spirit tells me that I don't belong here. There's something that's just not right. And so by the time you get further down your journey, you got some wounds and some scars, because you best believe these little sheep, they tried to scratch you up. They tried to cause some damage. They said, no, if you're going to get up out of here, trust and believe we ain't going to let you leave easily. But then when you fully awaken to who you are, they knew you better sit the hell down, because you're dealing with a lion right here. You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with a lion that knows it's a lion now. You're dealing with a lioness that knows she's a lioness now. And so they knew them little scratches and stuff. It's time to go sit down before you get devoured. So now, this is that healing process of, okay, I've been to war, I've been to battle, so let me do the work to heal, because after you have fully healed your heart chakra specifically, because there's emphasis on the heart chakra, then at that point, you can now fly higher and explore the possibilities that exist around you, and the possibilities of creativity and the many different things that you can explore here. So that's the message for you all. I hope it made sense, and I hope that you was able to receive clarity from it. If you find that it resonated with you, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so we can get this message circulating to all of the chosen across the four corners of the globe, because my position as a spiritual vessel is to simply spread the message. When it's shown to me, I bring it to you all. And if it's something that you can use, I would hope that you would, do your part so that it can circulate, because we got to stand in numbers. And the stronger we become as numbers, and in the spiritual realm and in the physical, this is when we shift the energy so that the powers that work can go and sit their little behinds down, get up out the way, so that we can now start really laying the foundation for this new kingdom. So I love you all. If you want a private reading from me, email me. If you want to order my hair or body oils, email me, and I will talk to you all next time.